This is where the fun begins.
Hello there. How's it going?
Hey everyone, Hybrid Toy Reviews here, and today I want to take a look at the Star Wars The Black Series Phantom Menace Anakin Skywalker, a character that I have been waiting to get in the collection for a long time. Phantom Menace was my very first Star Wars movie and holds a very special place in my heart, and I'm really happy that we are finally getting a little bit of Phantom Menace love, because there is a lot of gaps in that movie on the shelf. This is like figure number 10 total. He's number 2 in the Galaxy line. But, like, we maybe have 10 total characters from the Phantom Menace in the entirety of the Black Series, combining all different packaging styles. And Anakin was a major gap in that collection. So I'm really happy to get this put on the shelf. But without further ado, let's get into the review. Alright, here is Kid Anakin Skywalker from the Phantom Menace. Let's start by taking a look at the packaging. This is your standard Black Series packaging with your big Black Series logo above a giant window, showing Anakin and his one accessory off. Well, something to talk about, just remember, is look at how empty this bubble is. We'll come back to that. Is in Star Wars The Phantom Menace yellow with his name, warning 4+ Hasbro. This side of the box features some cool artwork of Anakin holding his pack in front of the little village section, the slave village he was in. On this side, you feature your wraparound window, your wraparound yellow stripe, your Black Series logo down below. Around back, you have a zoom in of that art, looking pretty good. Black Series logo, his name and a bio in varying languages. Pause and read whichever language best applies to you. He's number 2 in the Phantom Menace lineup. You have some warnings, some Disney Hasbro stuff, barcodes, more legal stuff down below. Up top's a hanger tab and a window. Lets a little bit of light in the box if you're an in-display or an in-package display collector. I don't do that. I play with my toys. So without further ado, let's open them up and take a look at what we get here. Here is Anakin and his one accessory out of the box. Let's start by taking a look at it. He comes with his backpack. He packs up a few essential items to take with him off to be a Jedi. It is a pretty nice looking sculpt. It's kind of a fancy backpack where it looks like 2 hard shells, you know, clammed together. Think like a hard shell suitcase, sort of. Has what looks like some sort of like a flashlight and a pouch on the outside, and a little bit of gold paint on what I'm assuming is a flashlight. Probably should just say canister. It's probably not a flashlight. And that is all the paint on this. It's a pretty weighty piece of rubber, and the straps are glued in, so to put it on, you kind of just have to fish his arms through it. I found a lot of the times on figure backpacks, you almost are better off to put the arms up. Yeah, there you go, and you put it on. And, I mean, it looks good, and it lays good. I remember when Darth Maul jumps him and Qui-Gon in the desert when they're almost at the ship. You know, he's running, and he's got this big, clunky, you know, backpack on him. That's what it looks like. It's a big, clunky backpack. Something else is because it's solid rubber, it does add a little bit of back weight, although now that I stand him up, it doesn't. But he's a little easy to teeter, you know, backwards when you have them standing like straight up with it. So just something to think about, but it is a nice looking accessory overall. And that's it for accessories. And that's actually kind of my one true real gripe here, and I guess I'll get into it before we get too far into the figure, because objectively I think our figure here is fine. And the backpack isn't a bad accessory, but I think there might be a Topical Tuesday to be had here just before the concept runs rampant. I think when it comes to smaller characters like young Anakin, that it is important to fill the box, because there's just less plastic going on here. You know, I mean, he takes less plastic to make than a true 6-inch figure. He's standing at about 4 inches, and that's not inaccurate, but, you know, there's just less material here. You're still going to charge $25. And if you're going to charge me, you know, $30, $35 for a deluxe figure because, you know, he's a little over height and maybe requires a little extra paint, well, where's my discount for when my figure's, you know, half the size? You know, why isn't Yoda $12.99 instead of, you know, $25.99? And, you know, why isn't Anakin at a discount? And then my thoughts there are, well, if you fill the box, you know, at least we get some other goods. A pretty prime example that's semi-recent is like Omega from the Bad Batch. You bring her in, and she's got like her breather, and she's got the little lizard dog and her bow, and I mean, like, she didn't need the breather, she didn't need the lizard dog thing, but like, it fills up that giant void that, you know, was just empty under Anakin's backpack. So that's enough of that gripe. I just feel like you know, there are things that he could have come with, whether it had been maybe take the tools from, I mean, I'm not even saying new stuff. I mean, take the tools from Hoth Leia, the little welder and stuff, just because he tinkers on shit is his thing. Or some of the tools from Tech, off of Tech's belt. Or, if you wanted to go new parts, give him the Pod Racer helmet. Give him the Naboo Starfighter helmet. Give them both. Fill the box. You know, let's start that. Hashtag fill the box, right? So, we'll set the bag off to the side. But yeah, that we are starting off of a little bit of a gripe. But now, just to take a look at what we are getting here, let's start by taking a look at the head sculpt. And I will say, that is a pretty smack-on Jake Lloyd, you know, like, impression. It looks really good. I do really like how this turned out. And the hair is sculpted very, very nice. There's a lot of just poofiness and texture to it, and a little bit of a wash in there, just in the deepest crevices to really show you that kind of dirty, blonde, shaggy texture he's got going on. Those eyes are piercing blue. I mean, those look really, really good. And there's just a hint of freckles on the cheeks. I mean, this is honestly some of the Black Series best as far as just fine detail. I mean, those freckles, I mean, come on, that is just insane. I mean, that is superb. I really like the likeness here. It's really good. Just excellent work on Hasbro from there. And maybe that's where the entire accessory budget went, but I can't imagine that to be the case. Going down, he is wearing his rather baggy, you know, slave child outfit. It's just that kind of tan, you know, baggy outer robe tunic thing with a brown belt with a gold buckle. Looks really nice. Some of the only paint we have on this guy. He does feature, like, this upper torso is like an overlay, and he does kind of have like a painted on representation, like that beaded necklace thing he wears under there, but there's no texture to it. It's very flat. That might have been able to be done a little better than it was, but that's okay. I mean, it looks the part. You look under his collar and you see there's something going on. That is enough. Around back, he's got a couple pouches on the back of his belt. And then you go down to his pants, and they're that same tan color as the tunic. They're baggy. And then he has these, like, wraps around the upper boots. And then his shoes are poking out there, a slightly different tan color. Not a lot of very exciting deco stuff going on here, but I suppose Watto's slaves weren't exactly getting a designer choice here. But yeah, I mean, it looks the part. It looks like Kid Anakin from the movie. I mean, I really am impressed by the sculpt, and especially that likeness. I mean, this is superb. You know, should Jake Lloyd ever decide to trust Star Wars fans again, should he get to feeling a little bit better, this Black Series is what I'll get him to sign if I ever someday get the opportunity to meet him. Just to remind that is some of my other content in his autograph collecting. So, I really like this. Let's run through some articulation. You know, for such a little body, there actually is some neat stuff going on here. He has the double ball jointed neck, which allows him to look that far up, which isn't insane. It's not bad. You can look pretty far down, do side to side, and there's a ton of pivot going on there. His arms can come up to a T-pose, but there's no butterfly joint in there. They're solid. I hope that's not being phased out. I don't think Padme had it either. 360 at the shoulder, single jointed elbows that can swivel at the elbow, 360 on the wrist with the left hinging in and out, and the right hinging up and down. That's nice. I like that. Features a mid-torso ball joint. That allows him to crunch that far forward and that far back, but it gets very gappy at the waist. I pretty much advise just sitting him straight up, and even then, when he's straight up, you get a little bit of gap in the back. It maybe not the best on this, but he has a swivel there. He can pivot, and of course that gets very gappy as well, so not ideal. His legs can kick out to do a true splits, however. He can kick his legs straight forward. There's no upper thigh cut, but that's alright, because you don't really need it, because he has the single jointed knees that go to 90, and then swivel at the knee, which replaces your need for a thigh cut. The ankle articulation is fascinating on this guy. So, you can hinge down, pretty straight down. You can do forward, pretty much just a flat. You have your normal ankle pivot, but then if you look in there at that joint, the whole joint turns like there's a boot cut in there. I mean, that is just superb engineering. You know, under that big, heavy wrap, you still at least get a foot twist. It gives you the same result as a boot cut, but it's just a little more hidden. So I really am satisfied with how that turned out. Let's go ahead and do a couple of size comparisons. I'm going to break out the Phantom Menace crew. So Here we have Qui-Gon Jinn. We have Jar Jar Binks. We have Obi-Wan Kenobi. And we have, from this same mini assortment with Anakin, we have Padme Amidala in her Theed outfit. Let me just bring this back a little bit. All in all, he is shorter than everyone, so I feel that scale works. But this just does make a great little display of all of our Phantom Menace heroes, and I am just really happy to see it. So, end of the day, what do I think of the Black Series Phantom Menace Anakin Skywalker? For what we get here, I generally like it. I am a little annoyed with the ab crunch, and the lack of any significant accessory is rough. I would absolutely love to just have him posed up on my shelf with like the pod racer helmet tucked under his arm instead of holding this backpack. I think that's the more definitive look. I get that in this movie it's more about meeting the character than the character actually really doing anything. You know, all he does in the movie features a vehicle, and I understand. Black Series, no more vehicles. It is what it is. But, you know, you could have given us something. And maybe the move here might have been to build up pack him with a Phantom Menace 3PO. Maybe give that 3PO a couple of panels you could pop on or something. Make a big set of him so then you could have Anakin, like, doing something. That potentially was the better move, but that's not what they chose to do here. But this Anakin, for what we get here, is good. I look at it, and I struggle to see that $25 price tag's value here. So I don't want to say wait for a sale, because then Hasbro interprets that as no one wants Phantom Menace figures. But, like, I get it if you do. It's a great figure, and it's a great addition to the collection. But if they're not going to fill the box, they need to give us a discount, the same way they upcharge us when a figure's a little too tall. So that's all I got to say here. Thanks for watching. It means a lot that you did. If you enjoyed, you should leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that in the video stuff, and I will catch you next time. Until then, may the Force be with each and every one of you, and goodbye.